Hey people, what is up? I'm here to do my review for Raw this week. And if I sound excited during this review, I'm sorry, but I am super pumped for Raw's 1000th episode, but I'll explain about that later. Anyway, so for the Raw review. So first, Raw opened up with CM Punk talking about being in Las Vegas and about how he laid his first pipe bomb and stuff, and then the Big Show came out and interrupted him, and they both talked trash for a while. So I give that segment 3.5 out of 5 stars. Sorry about that. I said that I gave that segment 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then next we had the tag team champions Kofi and R-Truth versus the Primetime Players, and for the tag team championships. And like I said, I would like this tag team better if it did not have AW, because I hate AW. That guy is annoying and he's a bastard, so I don't like him. So anyway, it was a pretty boring match, so I give it 2 out of 5 stars. And then one thing that I also wanted to say is that besides Kofi, Kingston, and R-Truth, and Primo and Epico, I think the tag team division sucks right now. That's right, the tag team division in WWE sucks. It's just true. So, next we had Zack Ryder versus Alberto Del Rio. And I'm glad that WWE finally put Zack Ryder on Raw. Because I know that Zack Ryder has been complaining on Twitter about not being on Raw and stuff, so I'm glad that he finally got on Raw. Although, what really pisses me off is that it was a squash match. So thanks, WWE, for a squash match. But luckily, Zack Ryder, like I said, was on Raw. And then, Rey Mysterio returned and beat up Del Rio, and he gave him the 619. So that's right, people. Rey Mysterio has come back to WWE in about freaking time, I say. So for the match, I gave the match with Zack Ryder and Alberto Del Rio 2 out of 5 stars, because it was just a squash match. It was dumb. But then, for Rey Mysterio's return to WWE, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So, yeah, hang on one second. Crap. Okay. And then, one thing that I also wanted to point out is that during Raw today, they were talking about next week, Christian defends his Intercontinental Championship on Raw's 1000th episode. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm telling you, Raw 1000th episode is going to be a blast. But I'll continue with that in a minute. So, anyway, next we had Heath Slater versus Rikishi. I'm sorry, I don't really know Rikishi really that well. So, I gave the match 1.5 out of 5 stars, because Rikishi won and stuff, so yeah. And then after that, then we had Daniel Bryan and AJ versus Eve and The Miz, and Daniel Bryan and AJ won. So I gave that match 2.5 out of 5 stars. And one thing is that I wish WWE would have more mixed tag team matches with divas and WWE and women and men mixed tag team matches. I think that'd be kind of better. So yeah, and then, anyway, after the match, after Daniel Bryan and AJ won, Daniel Bryan tried to marry AJ, and she said yes, yes, yes. I was kind of surprised by this, but I think now, since that, I think that the whole CM Punk, AJ, and Daniel Bryan thing is all over now. I think AJ's gonna marry Daniel Bryan now, so I think her whole thing with CM Punk is over. But I'll explain about that later. So, yeah. And then next we had Jack Swagger versus Ryback. And I thought that this would actually be a legit match for once. I thought that Ryback would actually have even competition. Guess what, people? I was wrong. Once again, WWE effed it up. It was a no contest because Jack Swagger beat the crap out of Ryback before the match started. And then Ryback fends Jack Swagger off. He retaliated and stuff. So I give that whole segment 2.5 out of 5 stars, because at least now Ryback is getting better competition, supposedly. So yeah, hang on one second, I gotta get a drink of water. Sorry. And then next we had Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler had a promo where he was talking about winning Money in the Bank and stuff, and just a bunch of yabba dabba crap. And now this surprised me that Dolph Ziggler had the balls to do this, but Dolph Ziggler said that he'd be a better champion than Bret Hart, The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, I give this guy credit. I mean, the WWE finally gave him a push. But, I mean, seriously, to make that kind of statement, oh boy, oh boy. So, anyway, the other thing is that I'd be a fan of Dolph Ziggler. I mean, I would be a fan of his more if he didn't hang around with Vicky Guerrero. I think Dolph Ziggler does not need Vicky Guerrero. To me, I think she's just a stepping stone. I mean, I don't like Vicky Guerrero, and I don't like her being... I mean, I don't think it's good for Vicky to still be with Dolph Ziggler. I mean, no, it's just bad. So anyway, and then when Dolph Ziggler was talking trash, Chris Jericho came out, and basically Dolph Ziggler kept on talking trash to Chris Jericho, saying that he's lost his touch, a bunch of crap like that. So then Chris Jericho replied by giving him the code breaker. So I give that whole segment 3 out of 5 stars. And yeah. One thing though that I also wanted to say is that after Chris Jericho, basically, I mean, Dolph Ziggler's a bad guy. I mean, he's a heel. So since that Chris Jericho came up to him and gave him the code breaker, does that mean that Chris Jericho is turning face? I don't know. Could Chris Jericho be turning into a good guy? I wouldn't be too surprised. So, yeah. And then later on the show, Raw announced that for Raw's 1000th episode, they're going to have the wedding of AJ and Daniel Bryan next week on Raw's 1000th episode. So, I don't know. I'm telling you, they keep on making Raw's 1000th episode better and better. So, yeah. And then next we had Brodus Clay versus JTG. I didn't really pay too much attention to this match, as more sending out tweets and stuff on Twitter. So then Brodus Clay won, and I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. So then next we had CM Punk versus The Big Show, and CM Punk won by DQ because The Big Show pushed the ref and stuff. And then later John Cena comes out and saves CM Punk from The Big Show. So I gave that whole segment 4 out of 5 stars, because when John Cena saved CM Punk, you didn't know if he was going to cash in his Money in the Bank on him or not. I mean, after all, I mean, The Big Show did beat the crap out of him. So, yeah, and then John Cena's announcement was, and then for John Cena's announcement after he saved CM Punk, well, The Big Show came back and tried to persuade Cena to cash in now. But Cena announced he'll cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase on CM Punk in a fair match on Raw's 1000th episode. So, also wanted to point out that this Friday on SmackDown, AJ and Daniel Bryan will be on the Peep Show with Christian. So, that should be good. So, for all of Raw this week, I thought that Raw was pretty good this week. I think Raw this week was more based on hyping Raw's 1000th episode more than anything, and I can't really blame them for that. So, anyway, for all of Raw, for the backstage segments, there weren't really that many backstage segments this time. I mean, the only backstage segment was Daniel Bryan and AJ and Eve. That was it. There was no other backstage segments. And, yeah, so besides that, sorry, just in case, I mean, I know that I might have already done this, but in case I forgot, Daniel Bryan and AJ versus Eve and The Miz. Yes, that's right, The Miz had a match, and Daniel Bryan and AJ won, so I gave that 2.5 out of 5 stars. That's just in case I forgot it. Sorry, people. Anyway, for all of Raw this week, I gave it 8 out of 10 stars, because, I mean, it's really, I mean, this episode was to hype Raw's 1000th episode, and I can't blame them for that, because on Raw's 1000th episode, I'll read off the stuff that's going to be on Raw's 1000th episode. Hang on 1 second. For Raw's 1000th episode, hang on, people. Christian defends his Intercontinental Championship. Let's see what else. The wedding of AJ and Daniel Bryan. And then, also besides that, Brock Lesnar returns. Here comes the pain. Because Brock Lesnar's back to answer Triple H's challenge at SummerSlam. And then besides Brock Lesnar, DX, D-Generation X returns. Are you ready? Because I'm fucking ready for that shit. So, yeah, the DX comes back, and The Rock, the People's Champion, the Brahma Bull, he's back for Raw's 1000th episode. And I'm sure that that'll be much, much more. So, seriously, people, if you are not excited for Raw's 1000th episode, then you are not a true wrestling fan. I'm sorry. So, yeah, that's my review for Raw this week. What's yours?